Welcome back. Today we have awards talk for the fellas. DPOY, as well as we have Comeback Player of the Year and Coach of the Year, our favorite awards to talk about. Again, J-Mo's doing some in-depth breakdowns, so make sure to go check out those videos if you want all of his thoughts for these future bets. But we do have DPOY to start us out. Nicholas, you start on the left side with Sexy Dexy. What do you think? I mean, both of you guys picked him, so you guys feel great about him.
Represent both of us well.
Got you, Steen. Let me power my inner Steen. Everybody else is going to get hurt, so Dexter Lawrence is. No, Dex. When I look at like the D tackle position, I know that's a tough one to really buy into to win Defensive Player of the Year outside of a dude like Aaron Donald, and a lot of the times it's like an edge award. But I do believe Dexter Lawrence is kind of becoming the best D tackle in the league, and I think we'll see that even as the age separates for him and Chris Jones. Like Donald retired and then it became Chris Jones, but like underlying stats would tell you it's really Dexter Lawrence probably the best player in the league at the D tackle position. The amount of pressures he gets, the amount of just like in your face quarterback hits he gets, but does not always convert to sacks. So those are guys that are kind of just like waiting on a breakout. And I look at the Giants defense, right? You have the names of Brian Burns and Thibodeau, and now you add in Abdul Carter. I just think that leaves an offensive line with no way to double team any player on this offensive line, which means Dexter should get some like clear shots on the QB. The one thing working against him, I think, is definitely like the team success overall. You know, if the defense is always on the field and he's got to come out of the game often, or the offense can't like do what they do and like give the defense a little bit of room to like move. I just think at 50-1, you're getting one of, if not like a top 3 most talented defensive players in the entire league. And you can't really find that. Like 50-1 odd players on like offensive player of the year are dudes that are like maybe top 10 at their position. You know what I mean? Like you don't get 50-1 odds at anyone who's as talented as a dude like Dexter Lawrence. So I'm willing to sprinkle some chips over there.
Stain?
Yeah, Cook.
All right, bet. So we need Russ to cook on offense for Dex to cook on defense.
I really think the Giants have such a great roster and depth chart on the defensive side of the ball. You listed the D-line. Shout out Bobby Okereke. Been on the couch before. Been right fucking here before preaching for Dexter Lawrence.
J-Mo smelled that seat after he got up.
I am banking on like Abdul Carter coming to the scene and like having that type of impact. We're all expecting a 3rd overall pick to have, where like, okay, this D-line.
That Trey Lance type of impact.
Yeah, stop.
Facts.
This like next level to the D-line where this is the best D-line in the league. And I don't think it's a bad bet. Like it's very rare you can name like 4 starters on a D-line and they're all got some name value. And the fact that like Thibodeau now is DN number 4 compared, or like,
is it
pass rush?
That was Tib. I always say Tib.
I think it might be Thibodeau. I always say Tib because of the Knicks coach, obviously.
Yeah.
Tib?
I don't know.
That's how the Knicks coach
Kayvon
was the
Thibodeau.
same last name as I don't know.
Whatever. The fact that he's like the 4th best pass rusher now versus when he was drafted is like, this is going to be our number 1 guy, just shows how much better they've gotten. And Russ is going to cook.
I think Dexter Lawrence had a game either last year or 2 years ago where I think he had 17 pressures.
Yeah.
Like 17 pressures, which is like usually a month worth of stats for a very, very good pass rusher. Like if similar to what we were talking about with like Puka, you know, systematically, if things break right, he could score 12, 14 touchdowns. If he gets a little bit of luck on the pressure rates that he typically puts up year over year, he could end up being in that Aaron Donald realm of, you know, double-digit type of sacks. And you're going to need a little bit of help. Like, you're going to need an edge player or a few edge players not to go to that, like, 20-sack mark, obviously. But, again, 50-1, I'll take that all day.
Who do you think is going into the year going to be the best defense?
Denver.
I don't know if I'm there with Denver fully yet.
Because it feels like
I think
who's
Denver
ever,
got
like
better
in the top 3 defense conversation, not even team conversation, like top defense conversation, their best player gets the DPOY.
Like Ravens, Denver.
I would say Ravens and Philly,
Like,
probably.
Philly's still going to be really good, yeah.
That makes like Jalen Carter an option. I'm just trying to think of guys that's going to be on.
I really think Detroit could be great again, or could be great if they stay healthy on defense also.
I think the Seahawks are going to be really good this year.
They got the players.
They have the players, and last year they went from starting the year in the 20th of rankings pretty much on everything defensive metric to top 10 by the end of the season.
What about Minnesota?
Minnesota could be very good as well.
Brian Flores is so dirty.
Right? Like
It's just not the only problem with Flores is it's just non-conventional.
Wait,
Like,
who are their pass rushers right now?
Grenard is all I know.
Shout out
Grenard.
They
They drafted
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner, who didn't do much last year.
That's the thing. I feel like there's not that much star power, and they still get it done.
Well, again, it's because it's so not like they do so much fake pressures. They do so much bringing
Like
everybody
Stephon
to the
Gilmore
line.
last year at 35 years old is like their
He's balling
corner
out.
number one.
People aren't talking about the Cardinals bringing back Calais Campbell. They brought in a lot of players. Like, they're going to be good. Actually, you know who might be really, really good too? Like, the Patriots are obviously good year in and year out. They could have a top defense in the NFL. They spent a lot on free agency, like shoring up their interior linebacker spots and everything. They brought in the secondary corner to play alongside Christian Gonzalez. Like, their D-line also gets...
I also think the Colts are in the conversation. Like, Colts will have a good defense.
They're not.
They have a
in that
lot of
group.
names.
They're not in this
They
conversation.
have a lot of names.
Stop.
I think
Big
it's truly
Lou?
like I truly think
Big
it's
Lou?
They're not in this conversation.
JT, Talamawadawulu, whatever from Ohio State. Listen, I think it's gonna be like Ravens and Denver are like up here, and then there's like a little tier gap, and then there's like the rest. That's kind of how I view it in
Falcons,
my brain.
yeah, for sure.
So the reason I had Miles is because I think he's just straight up the best defensive player in the league, and I don't think it's ever bad to take that, even if it's chalk value. Like he deserves the award. Like he will be the best defensive player in 2025. But the more we just talked it out loud, I'm kind of like Brown's probably not going to have
They're not gonna
top
be
three.
top
I mean, unless they
15.
have like a defensive rookie of the year and
Mason Graham,
Mason Graham and
Carson Swearinger.
they have Carson Swearinger, Denzel Ward.
Schlesinger. I think it's Schlesinger.
Swessinger,
Jeremiah
We're gonna get
Wusu-Koromora.
flamed either way.
He's
It
out.
doesn't
Like,
matter. Shout out JOK.
He's also on Dallas too. So.
Yeah. Facts. That was big.
Greg Newsome.
Shout out,
Jim
fire.
Schwartz came back.
shout out Notre
You
Dame.
be talking.
It's like we know a couple guys there, but I don't think they're going to be a top three defense.
All right, we'll go to someone who actually has a chance to win it. DPOY Will Anderson. I think this is going to be, obviously, I didn't even mention them. We'll talk about the best defenses, but I think they have a chance. They were really good at the end of last year. Houston looks like a team on the up and up. Obviously, receiver was the biggest question. They addressed it in the draft, so hopefully the offense can hold the field long enough. They can hold a good time in possession. The defense feels good. Will Anderson will probably be the guy on the defense with Derek Stingley. I think those two are going to be menaces, and I think Will Anderson's going to be the beneficiary there. On the defensive line side of things, he's also he's the exciting, he's the top pick. He's supposed to be the future of this team. I think he is going to be a guy that people look to just want to vote him, and then he's going to have a very good statistical season with this squad to where he will just kind of overtake.
Low-key too.
I think Stingley's elite.
It's just it
No
hurts
way they get
because of
back.
Lassiter was
PS2
great too last year
winning
as
it,
well.
yeah.
Like I think this defense overall is just very, very good and kind of underrated because of the mid-season they had. Where if their offense starts to click and the defense gets rolling, I feel
What are Jared versus odds?
They're
I'd have
pretty
to check. They're pretty high.
like he's in the top.
Have you heard of, like, dude, if you listen to like current NFL players,
Teron Armstead?
Yeah,
He's like,
it's like
I'm
if you listen
glad I
to any of them
retired.
talk about verse, you're like, okay, he's like super legit. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna be a
Shout
Like
out
it blows my
to
mind he only had
superstar player.
4 sacks or whatever it was last
some
year.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
He's gonna come out and have a 17
But
sacks.
he, yeah,
season.
he's one of those
Like-
guys like Dexter Lawrence where like the pressure numbers are going to be insane
Yeah.
if things break right. Where it's like his arm is an extra 6 inches the right way, it's going to be a sack this year.
Like when Jamo's rushing on the D line
Yeah, like
this year.
if he had the arm span of me.
When
wingspan.
Jamaica Parsons comes out there.
Micah Loki feels like another guy you could throw out
Micah's
there.
odds are just
I
way
don't
too
know if
high.
Dallas, bro. I feel like they could be a shit show this year.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a head coach. Shout out. All right. Comeback player of the year. We
given you
literally
your picks.
have 2 of the same team's quarterbacks in this graphic together. That's pretty good shit. That's good shit.
That's actually insane.
That's awesome. Let's talk about it. Daniel Jones and AR. Anthony Richardson, 32 to 1. Daniel Jones, 25 to 1. Daniel Jones is the clear quarterback 1 as of right now heading into the season. In my eyes, the reason why I have Daniel Jones right-handed, the big man, I think Daniel Jones is going to have a big opportunity to play the entire season. If AR can't get his shit together and Daniel Jones is able to play good football, I don't see there's a reason to bench him. They're not going to bench him just to bench him. And I think he's going to have to fuck up multiple times or have a really bad game for them to have to be like, all right, AR, you're coming in. And if he's able to play competent football in a Shane Steichen offense that I think could be very good this year, he's all the tools around him. Solid O-line, JT, good wide receivers around him outside of it. So I think Daniel Jones should be able – and realistically, this team was like 2 or 3 AR throws last year from being 3 more wins. Like, you look back at it, like, Adonai Mitchell was booty butt naked 4 or 5 times and just completely missed. If Daniel Jones doesn't miss those throws and they're winning ball games, I don't see a reason for him to be benched. I think he's very good value, 25 to 1, and he's going to be a comeback story that could be pretty cool.
I have AR just because
Vibes?
there is so much negative narratives around him. Like As soon as he came to the league, he got hurt. He like took out a play out of the game because he was tired. He's known as being inaccurate. Like there is so much negativity
it's
around
statistically
him.
proven he's inaccurate.
But if he somehow led this team to the playoffs and he got back the starting job, it'll hands down go to him because he actually did come back from everyone pretty much being out on him.
The sharp play is going to be Anthony Richardson, comeback player of the year next year. Daniel Jones plays most of this year. A-Rich will go down a Justin Fields career path where he's like bouncing from team to team, starts half season here, gets a starting gig here, and then his odds.
Yo, what about Justin Fields?
You got to get hurt, though.
But he got benched. He got benched.
Is his lines up?
I think so. I just didn't. I got to look at him. I didn't have the
That's
graph
not
for this one.
crazy.
All right, Steen, now talk about the other guy.
Yeah, Tua.
Talk about the other GOAT.
Talk about your Miami ledge. Big Miami
Just
day.
awards in South Beach.
South Beach.
Awards
Could have
everywhere.
comeback play of the year, offensive play of the year.
Tua is one of the most pendulum swinging players in the league. Like everyone's one moment, 1 month on him, and then the rest is like completely out on him. And I think with those type of swings right now, we're in an outswing where like no one likes Tua. He's like finally judged as how he's always fucking been, ass. But knowing how the pendulum swings with him, there's going to be a month where he has some sexy numbers, and maybe throughout the full year he could go back to what he was in 2022, or at the end of the day he has a pretty box score, and I think that'll be enough of a swing to where like he wins some votes and wins his cult following like Emmanuel Acho that want to like bring him back to life.
I think it's bullshit that he even qualifies for this. He missed 5, right? 5 games?
Yeah, it's all about the story, dude.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, I'm just very in on the Vikings. I just feel like
You're all in.
yeah, I am. I think they're going to be such a good team this year. I mean, KOC is just like a stat god. You know, he just makes any quarterback become stat relevant. And if JJ comes in as a borderline rookie, I think they're going to be looking at him in that light. And if they can win 11 or 12 games in this division, I don't know. It feels like something has to give here where I'll sprinkle on JJ. I'll also go back-to-back on KOC for Coach of the Year. And if they end up performing the way I think they will, where they win 12-plus games, one of them is probably going to win that award. It's either people are going to look at it from, oh, JJ so far past expectations, he's actually the next great young quarterback, or KOC is so good that he just did it again with a new quarterback in the helmet. It didn't actually matter who was there. So it's almost like not just JJ, but I do think he's going to have a great year because there's no holes in this offense. Now you add like all the offensive line pieces, first-round pick, Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, like the list goes on and on and on. So JJ's like the only kind of unknown in this entire offense. So one way or another, I think if they perform to the expectations I think they will, then one of those awards I think goes to the Minnesota guys. So I would just stack them as individual bets.
Jettas for Old Boy.
I can't
Puka, greater son.
I can't wait for all of us to watch week 1 and be like, yeah, we're cooked. All around. Just fried.
When Sam Ellinger starts for the Colts.
Yeah. That would be good stuff. That will be good stuff. Coach of the year, Jim, Dave, Liam, Shane Steichen.
Liam Jones.
These are
Shane.
great names. Shout
My
out the
goats.
whitest collection of names we could possibly find.
Yeah.
Talk us through it. Liam Cohen, Shane Steichen. Obviously, Shane, you're talking about AR coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I
Colts
think
in
Shane
general?
is explanatory. Like, we're both high on the Colts so much between Daniel Jones and AR. It's like, well, what is the common denominator on why we like them? It's Shane Steichen. And it sucks because I like him so much because I feel like the 2 years he's been in Indy, he's been given shit situations and has still made a shit ton out of it, which is why I'm backing him. But unfortunately, for the 3rd year in a row, he might also be in a shit situation. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to bet on a guy that I think is a phenomenal head coach and hope a couple things break right versus wrong for him because really can't get much worse. I do think they're going to have an elite defense. His quarterback situation is the best it's been in the 2 years. Not saying much, but I would take Daniel Jones and AR over AR and Gardner Minshew or AR and Joe Flacco. And now that hopefully he'll have a full Jonathan Taylor for the 2nd year in a row, I'm willing to bet on him in a weak division where if they go 10-7 and can somehow squeak out the AFC South title, they'll credit everything to him. Or if Daniel Jones or AR put on a comeback player of the year campaign, they'll also credit everything to him. I'm all in on Shane Steichen. And then Liam Cohen, same thing, in a weak division, but what we saw Liam Cohen do with Baker, where Baker went from a guy that's like good quarterback to all of a sudden he can now be great, that's what I'm betting on with T-Law. I think he's taking on an even better quarterback when it comes to potential that could be good or is good and could be great. We just haven't seen it. And if he can make T-Law have the box scores and have the numbers we all have wanted him to have since he entered the league, Liam Cohen's going to get all the credit because we've given them the excuses of Urban Meyer, Doug Peterson, holding them back, like, shit. If Liam Cohen can get T-Law to be the Andrew Luck prospect he was supposed to be, he's going to get some love and glaze, and rightfully so.
Yeah, Cohen makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's just in such a right position to, like, turn things around. My biggest concern is, like, team success. Like, even if T-Law goes out and throws for 4,230 passing touchdowns and the team goes, like, 8-9, doesn't make playoffs.
The only nice part about them is, like, all they have to do is sneak into the playoffs and they can get it. They don't have to have a 13-4 performance.
Yeah,
Which
I mean, that's still my biggest concern. But also, same for me with Dave Canales. Like, I'm taking a guy that's also 14-1, and I think it's like a good approach to be looking at divisions that are kind of like up for grabs. And it's like who could sneak in, and I think the storyline kind of writes itself for Carolina with Bryce Young, him like coming back last year and then playing really well down the stretch. And if he can become, a top 16, top half of the league quarterback this year and keep progressing, and they, sneak out some wins against a super weak division and are competing for a wild card spot, and maybe, things break a little bit right their way and they get in at 9-8 or something, then I feel like Canales is probably right up there, if not the favorite for that. So I think I like the storyline more than I actually, like, on paper think it's probably going to happen. But I think he's like one of the few candidates where the story kind of like writes itself.
Shout out the Panthers. Yeah. Really shout out the best team in the league. Speaking of easy divisions, I think Jim Harbaugh has a clear path in a very light.
Speaking of easy
light AFC West. Chiefs are food, Broncos are frauds, and the Chargers have a path to where they can win the division.
If I had to vote, the toughest division in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it would be them.
Over the AFC North?
Yeah. I mean, the Browns are just such an anchor. Like, I would take Raiders over Browns all day.
And the Steelers are so hot and cold.
I mean, they're like the stronghold in that division.
The Bengals are like the Broncos, the Ravens are the Chiefs, and the Steelers are the Chargers. And then it's, I guess, Browns versus Raiders.
I think Chargers are better than the Steelers.
Yeah, but like,
look back at the 70s.
I'm looking back at it right now.
I would lean Chargers over Steelers and lean Chiefs over Ravens. Even if you don't lean that way, I just still think the Raiders are so much better than the Browns. To be honest, the NFC North. Sorry, this is
I was okay. You guys
also fair.
Want to keep it pushing? Keep it pushing. All right.
The NFC West.
Jim Harbaugh has a chance to take down the Chiefs, who have been notorious just winner, chicken dinner every single year in this division. And if they do that, I think there's no doubt in my mind that he could easily win this award. Obviously, that comes with the caveat of they have to win 13, 14 games. They won 11 wins in his first season with them, to where I think if they can just kind of get a few more pieces that they did this offseason when they got Amari and a few others, it made me feel 10 times more confident that this Chargers team could really take that next step and get those 2 extra wins, get those 3 extra wins.
I also think he won it with the Niners. I almost feel like that helps him because people would be like, how impressive would it be if Jim Harbaugh won it with the second team?
Yeah. No,
that'd be a thing.
Yeah, and Jim's there. Big Jim. Love Jim.
Would you take Jim over John, like a blank team?
John beat him head-to-head.
Yeah, but I mean,
John the GOAT.
Say with your chest, thing.
I'm not as high on John, I don't think.
Really? Why?
People are just bored of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just wins.
I think I'm bored.
He's just a winner.
But Jim also...
You'll get bored of Nick Sirianni soon, too.
Jim also just wins. So it's like it's hard. Like, both of them are very good coaches in their own respect. Different styles, obviously.
I'm excited to see what the Chargers do in year 2 for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it could be good. All right. Make sure you're taking these bets on BetMGM. Use code BETS when you sign up, or just click the link that's in below in the description. And you can get up to $1,500 back when you miss these futures that we're placing. $1,500 back. Just make sure you're putting $10 down, and you can get all of that back. With that being said, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. What's the fun shit down below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.